Hello and welcome everyone to this new video of mine. In this video we are going to learn about the audio-lingual method. So I really recommend you to keep watching this video to the end because we have a demo lesson for you that will actually help you to learn and see how this method works in class. So without any further delay, let's just get started. So as you can see, this is the content of my presentation. First, we are going to start with the theoretical foundation. It's very important because no other method had a theory before. All the previous methods were without a theory, including the GTM and the direct, including the GTM and the direct method. Yeah. Then we are going to move to the basic principles. Of course, we are going also to tackle the techniques in the activities of these methods. We're also going to deal with the advantages and disadvantages, and we will wrap up this presentation with the decline of the audio-lingual methods and see the reasons why this method is no longer used in ACL classes as it was once before. So when it comes to the theoretical foundation, the audio-lingual method is based on two main theories. The first one is theory of language, which is structuralism, and the second one is theory of learning, which is behavioral psychology or behaviorism. These two main theories actually share a lot of similarities more than differences, so they go hand in hand with each other. When it comes to structuralism, structuralists believe that language is a system of structural related elements. For example, we have phonological units, we have grammatical units, and lexical items. So if you want to learn a language, you need to master the elements of the target language system. You need to learn about the phonemes and allophones. You need to learn about the grammatical units. You need to learn about um, phrases, words, sentences, etc. And the list goes on. Then we have behavioral psychology or behaviorism. People, according to this theory, are conditioned to learn many forms of behavior, including language, through the process of training or conditioning. So language is the result of imitation and practice, and feedback on this axis. Um, as far as the basic principles are concerned, instructions are given in the target language. Um, the teacher should make the L2 as the most dominant language in his class. Explicit roles are not provided, means that roles are given implicitly so that students will have to discover the roles of language. Language form occur within a context. If you want to present certain language items, vocabulary, forms, grammar, it all should be within a context. You create a context first, and then you present whatever you want to present. Errors are carefully avoided. Teachers using this method should not tolerate errors. Positive reinforcement helps students to develop correct habits, which means that teachers need actually to strengthen the behavior of their students in order to develop correct habits by um, mm, positive reinforcement, presenting rewards, and so on and so forth. The dialogue is the chief means of presenting vocabulary in structures. Use dialogues in order to present vocabulary in language structures. Priority is given to oral skills, that is to say, priority is given to speaking and listening. The role of the teacher. The teacher models the target language, controls the direction and the pace of learning. It's actually very interesting. It's the role of the teacher in the audio-lingual method is more like an orchestral leader. Um, can you see this guy? He is the one who controls and directs the behavior of all the orchestras. He monitors and corrects the learner's performance. Remember what we said before, errors are not tolerated. They should be completely avoided in the audio-lingual methods. And he needs to keep learning the learners attentive by varying drills and tasks. In the audio-lingual method, the learner is just the imitator of the teacher's model. So this actually says it all. Repetition, repetition, repetition. That is to say, the learner just imitates the teacher who's supposed to be the perfect model. And he receives and consumes the knowledge, which directly comes from the teacher. Like we said, who's supposed to be the best model. Um, They are not encouraged to initiate interaction. Again, the teacher is the one who directs and initiates the interaction in the language behavior of students. They must overcome the habits of their native language. As we said before, that the L1 is not allowed. They should not rely on the L1 when they are in class. So when they try to use the language, they should definitely use the L2, not the L1. When it comes to the interaction, most of the interaction is between the teacher and students. And of course, it is initiated by the teacher, but of course, there is a little room for the learner to learn an interaction, like in the case of chain drills or when students take different roles in dialogues. But most of the time, it is between the teacher and the learners. So with regards to the activities, we have a lot of activities here. So we have activities by Bronx 1964, and we have activities by Larsen and Freeman. When I first read Freeman, I thought that it's a man, and then I found out that it's actually a woman, not a man. So you can use dialogues memorization. You can introduce dialogues and help your students to memorize them, or you could use actually backward build-up drill. So in this case, you need to break down the line into several parts, and then students repeat a part of the sentence, usually the last phrase of the line, then they expand what they are repeating part by part. Or you could use repetition drill. The students repeat an utterance aloud as soon as he or she has heard it. Of course, you could also use substitution drill. One word of an utterance appears in another form when repeated. Like, for example, you would say, "How is he?" So this is the question, "How is he?" And then students would say, "How are they?" Okay, so in this way, you are replacing one word with another one when it is with another form when it is repeated. And of course, you have a list of activities here by Brock, which you could also choose from. The adventures. It was the first method to have theory, and this is actually a plus because all the previous method lack theory. Whereas the audio-lingual method has actually two main theories: structuralism on the one hand and behaviorism on the other. Um, Number two, it's made language learning accessible to large groups of ordinary learners. So if you have a large group, then choosing the audio-lingual method is the best thing that you can do because it actually works well with large classes and you will have a great result in the end. Number three, it was the first method to lay stress on the development of language syntax because actually all um, the most of the methods um, were preoccupied with morphology and vocabulary, and they completely forgot about syntax, which is another important field of linguistics. Disadvantages. One of the pitfalls of this method is that it kills the creativity of students. Students repeat things that they don't understand. So this method just encourage parrot learning instead of meaningful learning. Students just imitate. Um, they just receive the knowledge from the teacher. They don't produce anything. Number two, the techniques used in this method um, make your students feel bored, especially when you deal with advanced students. I don't really recommend you to use the audio-lingual method because no one will attend your class. Many students in class. This is another pitfall. When you use the audio-lingual method, like we said before, this method is actually used with large classes. And what may become an advantage can also become disadvantage. Like here, you have a lot of students. So um, this would make your class actually a little bit um, difficult to control. The audio-lingual method actually reached its peak in the 60s as many linguists criticized it heavily. They claim that the theoretical foundation. Remember, we were bragging earlier about the theoretical foundation and how the audio-lingual method is the first method to have a theory. So the linguists actually claimed that this theoretical foundation is very weak and unsound, in the sense that students were found to be unable to use skills learned in the classroom in communication because most of the students actually were trained to repeat just what the teacher says. So they were unable actually to communicate outside outside the class. In 1966, Chomsky criticized behavioral theory which was the main basis of audiolingualism, and he claimed that this theory could not function as a model of how humans learn a language. So Chomsky um, came with an alternative theory, which is LAD, or language acquisition device. He gave um, more importance to the internal processes in mind rather than the observable behavior. Um, One of the arguments which was proposed by Chomsky um, is productivity. He claimed that a human being produce an infinite number of sentences, which couldn't just come from the memory. In fact, there are more than memory because when you give um, students all what they need is a role, and on the basis of that role, they could formulate a lot of sentences. It's time for a test. So here I would like to test your knowledge and see if you are following or not. So I have a few statements and I want you to tell me which one is true and which one is false. Are you ready? Okay, so let's get started. The students in the audio-lingual method are passive. What do you think? Is it true or false? Yes, it's true. New vocabulary and structures are presented through dialogues. Yes, it's true as well. There is student-to-student interaction, but it is directed by the teacher. Yes, of course it's true. Errors are accepted in the audio-lingual method. No, it's false. There is no theater for the audio-lingual method. It's actually false. We have come to the end of this presentation, so thank you guys for your attention. So these are just some references that you could go back to in case you want to learn more about this method. You could actually visit this website and it's very helpful, www.Larsen, or you could read books by Larsen Freeman, especially Techniques and Principles in Language Teaching, or another interesting book by Jack C. Richard named Approaches in Method in Language Teaching. Like I promised you in the beginning, we have a demo lesson for you. We have a video that I want you to reflect on. The video shows you how the audio-lingual method works actually in class. So when you finish the video, I want you to drop a little comment and tell us 2 things you like and 2 things you didn't like about the audio-lingual method.
Good morning, class.
Good morning. How are you?
Fine, thanks. How are you?
Fine, thanks.
Good. I'm happy to hear that. Today's lesson is going to be about 2 people, about a salesman, a special kind of a salesman. Now, you know what a salesman is. That's a person who sells something to somebody else, a salesman. We're going to, today the salesman is a vacuum cleaner salesman, and the other person, here's the vacuum cleaner salesman, and let me write that. The other person is a woman, or we could call her a housewife. So now, I want you to just listen and watch what I do. Listen carefully, watch what I do, and try to understand, okay? Now, I'm the salesman now, okay? I'm going to be both people. I'm going to play 2 roles. I'm going to be the salesman and the woman. Okay. Ring, 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 ring. Ring, 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 ring. Now, the woman. Hello? Hello, madam. Would you like to have the cleanest house in town? Yes, of course I would. Then, madam, you need the amazing Hoover vacuum cleaner. No, I don't. Salesman. What? Why not? Because my husband does the cleaning in our house. Oh. Now, we're going to learn this together now. I'm going to help you learn how to say this whole dialogue, okay? So, please repeat. The first line is the woman says, "Good morning."
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
The salesman says, "Good morning. Would you like to have the cleanest house in town?"
Good morning. Would you like to have the cleanest house in town?
Okay. House in town. Just say that much. House in
town.
The cleanest house in town.
The cleanest house in town.
Okay. Now just group D here. The cleanest house in town.
The cleanest house in town.
A. The cleanest house in... That's okay. The cleanest house in town.
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 Okay, now just you. The cleanest house in town.
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 Cleanest.
Cleanest.
The cleanest house in town.
The cleanest house in town.
Good, very good. Okay. This group. The cleanest house in town.
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 No, just right now, just this group, okay? That's good. In a minute. The cleanest house in town. Just
The cleanest house in town.
you, man.
The cleanest house in town.
The cleanest house in town. Good. Everybody, the cleanest house in town.
Cleanest house in town.
Would you like to have the cleanest house in town?
Would you like to have the cleanest house in town?
Would you like to have the cleanest house in town?
Would you like to have the cleanest house in town?
Okay. Would you like to have the cleanest house in town? Good. Okay, you.
Would you like to have the cleanest house in town?
The cleanest house in town.
Would you like to have the cleanest house in town?
Good. Okay. From the beginning now, the woman says, "Good morning." Everybody, good morning.
Good morning.
The salesman says, "Good morning, madam. Would you like to have the cleanest house in town?"
Good morning, madam. Would you like to have the cleanest house in town?
Okay, good. Now the woman says, "Yes, of course I would."
Yes, of course I would.
Yes, of course I would.
Yes, of course I would.
All right, this half of the class. Yes, of course I would.
Yes, of course I would.
This half. Yes, of course I would.
Yes, of course I would.
You, please. Yes, of course I would.
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 Yes, you have to say it with feeling, right? Yes, of course I would.
Yes, of course I
Yes.
would.
Good, thank you. You, sir.
Yes, of course I would.
Yes, of course I would.
Yes, of course I would.
Okay, everybody. Yes, of course I would.
Yes, of course I would.
Salesman says, "Then, madam, you need the amazing Hoover vacuum cleaner."
Then, madam, you need an amazing vacuum cleaner.
Vacuum cleaner.
Vacuum cleaner.
Hoover vacuum cleaner.
Hoover vacuum cleaner.
The amazing Hoover vacuum cleaner.
The amazing Hoover vacuum cleaner.
Then, madam, you need the amazing Hoover vacuum cleaner.
Then, madam, you need an amazing Hoover vacuum cleaner.
Okay, this group. Then, madam, you need the amazing Hoover vacuum cleaner.
Then, madam, you need the amazing Hoover vacuum cleaner.
All right, you. Then, madam, you need the amazing Hoover vacuum cleaner.
Then, madam, you need the amazing Hoover vacuum cleaner.
Good, very good, very good. All right, you try it. Then, madam, you need the amazing Hoover vacuum cleaner.
Then, madam, you need the amazing Hoover vacuum cleaner.
Vacuum cleaner, very good. Everybody. Then, madam, you need the amazing Hoover vacuum cleaner.
Then, madam, you need an amazing Hoover vacuum cleaner.
Now, you remember that we don't write down these dialogues as we're saying them, because at the end of the class, I will give you a copy so you can read it. Right now, concentrate on memorizing it just from the sounds, okay? And later, you'll be able to see it in writing. So, from the beginning, the woman says, "Good morning."
Good morning.
The man says, "Good morning, madam."
Good morning.
Okay. "Good morning, madam. Would you like to have the cleanest house in town?"
Good morning, ma'am. Would you like to have the cleanest house in town?
"Yes, of course I would."
Yes, of course I would.
Then, madam, you need the amazing Hoover vacuum cleaner.
Then, madam, you need the amazing Hoover vacuum cleaner.
"No, I don't."
No, I don't.
"What? Why not?"
What? Why not?
"What? Why not?"
What? Why not?
Yeah, what? Why not?
What? Why not?
Okay, use the gestures. See? What? What? Why not?
What? Why not?
Try it with your hands. Use your hands.
What? Why not?
Yeah, what? Why not? And your shoulders. See my shoulders?
Why not?
What? Why not? Okay, everybody together. What? Why not?
What? Why not?
Okay. And the woman says, because my husband does the cleaning in our house.
Because my husband doesn't clean our house.
In our house.
In our house.
The cleaning in our house.
The cleaning in our house.
My husband does the cleaning in our house.
My husband does the cleaning in our house.
Because my husband does the cleaning in our house.
Because my husband does the cleaning in our house.
This group here, please. Just this group. Because my husband does the cleaning in our house.
Because my husband does cleaning in our house.
Okay, listen to me. Because my husband does the cleaning in our house. Wait. Okay, just you, please. You try it.
Because my husband does the cleaning in our house.
Does the cleaning.
Does the cleaning.
Now again, because my husband does the cleaning in our house.
Because my husband does the cleaning in our house.
Good, very good. Everybody, because my husband does the cleaning in our house.
Because my husband does the cleaning in our house.
And then the salesman says, oh. No, he's sad. Oh. I will be the salesman, and you, all of you, will be the woman, okay? I'm the salesman. So I ring the bell. Ring, 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 ring.
Good morning.
Good morning, madam. Would you like to have the cleanest house in town?
Yes, of course.
Then, madam, you need the amazing Hoover vacuum cleaner.
No, I don't need.
What? Why not?
Because my husband doesn't clean our house.
Oh. Okay, now we'll change. And you will be the salesman, and I will be the woman. Okay? Ring the bell. Ring the bell. Good morning.
Good morning, madam. Would you like to have the cleanest house in town?
The cleanest house in town.
The cleanest house in town.
Would you like to have the cleanest house in town?
Would you like to have the cleanest house in town?
Yes, of course I would.
Then you need the amazing Hoover vacuum cleaner.
The amazing Hoover vacuum cleaner? No, I don't. Why not? Because my husband does the cleaning in our house.
Thank you guys for the feedback. We already got some comments from you. Like Juliana, for example, she says, sometimes we consider repetition as a boring strategy to learn a language, but this method can help us to internalize grammatical structures and vocabulary. It's not just memory, it is fluency. Of course, we have other people who disagreed with this method, like Walton. Walton says this looks painful, and it seems that Grace shares the same opinion. He says, I think this class is teacher-controlled class, and students only can imitate the works of this teacher. I don't like this mode of teaching. Of course, guys, there is no best method. Each method has its advantages and disadvantages. What might work in a context might not work in another context.